better. All right. So that valve lash is done, much better. All right. We are gonna get this Honda Bond out of the corners here and clean this up, and then we'll reseal these corners and put this thing back together. And we're gonna start driving it, start tuning on it a little bit, some light stuff on gate, and just kind of dial in the drivability a little bit. It shouldn't be too far off from where it was, honestly, but it does need a little bit of fuel in some areas. At idle, it wants a little bit more fuel. It's idling like the 17, 18 AFRs, so it's too lean. So we'll try to get that dialed in a little bit, and we'll do some light pulls in like second or third gear and just kind of see where that air fuel is and try to get that part dialed in. I imagine I'll probably have to throw a little bit there, so I may even throw like 5% or so more fuel across the whole board in boost, just because I'm assuming it's going to need more fuel there. So I may throw a little bit more in there and then go from there, just because I know it's going to take a little bit more. This thing's also going to make a decent amount more power on the same boost. So before it made 350 on wastegate, which is 15 psi, and now with the bigger motor and the added compression, I imagine this thing's probably going to make over 400 on that 15 psi, or right around that 400 mark on 15 psi. So we'll see. I think it's going to make power pretty easily. In the last video that I had posted, you know, I had some people commenting on what kind of power it would make, and we were talking about potentially 22, 23 psi is where I feel like it's going to make 500 wheels. So we'll see. If it does, that would mean right about 30 psi, it should make 600 wheels. So we'll see what happens. We'll see how far we push it to when we get to the dyno. It still has this ACT clutch in it that's been in it for quite some time, honestly. So we'll see how well that's going to hold up as well on the dyno, especially loading fourth gear. It might not like that very much, but we'll see. If so, I may have to, you know, just bring the RPM up higher in the RPM and start my pull later, just to get the back end of the power band. Obviously, it doesn't get loaded like that when you're racing it, so the load will be a little different. But anyway, so that's the plan. We're gonna shoot for the 500 mark, obviously, first. Obviously, we've already been there, so we know we can get there, no problem. And then from there, we'll just kind of play it by ear, see how it's running, how well it's reacting to stuff, and see what we're gonna do. You know, how the clutch is acting and how the motor feels in general. If everything feels good, we'll probably keep going, and maybe shoot for 600 or something. I don't know. We'll see. Again, it's still just a stock block, but you know, we're just trying to make some power. All right, get this valve cover put back together. Now we got to get to the track out here and get that 9-second pass, and then you know, so on and so forth. You know, see what the next plan is for the car. Talked with, you know, a couple people have asked me about going all-wheel drive, and that may be it may be in the future plans. We'll see. We'll see how things play out. And we may work on putting together a all-wheel drive D-series trans and running that route. We may go to D to B and do that route, you know, who knows. We'll see if we go that far. I've got a couple ideas and we'll see what works out. Alright. Well, every lash on this thing was looser than it should have been, so it should quiet it down a little bit. This thing's always been a little noisy with the built head and the valve train and everything. It's just a little noisy. It doesn't bother me none. But we'll see how this works out. Get her fired up. I got to get my computer and set the timing and a few other things, but we'll let it warm up and then we'll work on that in a little bit. Gotta take the wrench off the flywheel. Alright. Not the flywheel, the other thing. Crank pulley. Computer's being used at the moment to edit a video that hopefully will go up today. Today is Saturday. So it's in the middle of processing some videos, so I can't use it yet. But let this thing warm up, and that way when it's done in there, I can use it and make this video, and I'll finish editing that video, and so on and so forth. But anyway, it sounds a lot better than it did. It was pretty noisy, a lot of valve train noise. It sounds very smooth right now, so it should be pretty good. I'm excited to get this thing going, get it dialed in, and start driving again, start running it. Eventually, I'm probably going to pull that transmission back out and put some new synchros and stuff in it. You know, with how many times I've had that thing apart, I've never put new synchros in it. Just other synchros that I've had, you know, things in good shape and whatever. But I need to do some other synchros. I think I might actually get a tall first gear from MTM as well. That'll help so that I can get my 1-2 shift a little faster. Right now I have to baby it. It doesn't like shifting at 8,500 RPM. You know, these transmissions were never designed to do that. So it doesn't like shifting up there, especially, you know, no lift shifting. So I always have to lift, clutch it, you know, shift, and it's just costing me a little bit of time. You know, even when you watch the videos, you don't really notice that that's happening so much. Yeah, but if you compare like first to second versus like second to third, you know, where I'm no lifting, it's a huge difference. And that little bit, you know, the short track is everything for drag racing. So that little bit, you know, it may be, you know, seem like it's so small, but it's definitely impacting that quarter-mile time by quite a bit. So anyway, we're gonna let this thing warm up for a little bit. Once I get the computer, you know, free so I can use it again, then we'll bring it out here. We'll start playing with the tune a little bit and go for a drive. All right, we got the laptop back out. We're gonna start this thing back up. And we'll let it warm up again a little bit. See where it's at. And then we're gonna lock the timing, set the timing. I think it's gonna be good where it's at, but we're gonna set it, just make sure. And then we're gonna play with the idle a little bit, try to bring the idle down. I did throw a little bit of fuel at it. I put the boost settings down to wastegate, and I'll show you where that's at in Neptune and whatnot real quick, just so you know. And then we'll load this map. Timing real fast and make sure I got it where it needs to be. Locked at 16 and a half. So, timing, go to 16 degrees. Sure I'll line it up with the mark down here. Adjusted just a little bit, so grab a 12 millimeter wrench and see if we can get it to be where it needs to be. For a second. I just need to see if I can get this, unlock this timing real quick. See if I can get this RPM to simmer down a little bit. That's annoying. I think I might have actually made it run lean last time on purpose, now that I'm thinking about it, because it was doing this and it actually smoothed out when I did that. So I'm gonna see what happens if I give it a bunch of fuel here. Yeah, it doesn't really care. It's doing the same thing, so if I can get it to smoothen out a bit. Yeah, it definitely likes to be leaned better. Much better there. Idle's very low. It's got a bunch of lean pops, but kind of hear the cam a little bit like that. Now the idle's down nice and low, and motor's much quieter. Okay, well, let's go for a drive real fast and make sure it's not going to stall when we come to a stop and things like that. Laptop in the passenger seat. Like it should be. Motor's much quieter now with that mouth lash. It was noisy, which it's always been noisy, but it actually sounds really good right now. Real smooth. Catching itself fine. It's idling around 1150 or so. It's pretty good. gotta finish editing this video. But once I get all that done, we'll really start making some pulls and getting the tune dialed in. We'll take you along for the ride on that. For now, we're gonna put a little bit of miles on it. I gotta change this oil and put some heavier oil in it. This is just like 30 weight non-detergent oil, so I'll get that out and get some 1540 or some 2050 in there, and then go from there. So, all right, well, that's it for now. Stay tuned and we'll get some more stuff going.